Chapter 14. The Web of Life. That morning, Crysta knew something was wrong even before she opened her eyes. The fungus platform was moving underneath her in short, sharp bursts. Each movement sent a dull throbbing pain through her body. She looked over the edge of the platform.
Morning!
She saw Zak standing at the foot of the tree, hammering away at the trunk. She flew down and asked him what he was doing.
What are you doing?
He proudly told her he was carving her name in the trunk.
Carving your name. See? C-R-Y-S.
No, you mustn't do that. Here.
You're hurting it.
Can't you feel its pain?
It's pain?
Zak didn't know what she was talking about, so Crysta placed his hand on the trunk and told him to feel for himself. Batty, who was hanging overhead, told her that humans were numb from the brain down and couldn't feel anything.
Humans can't feel anything. They're numb from the brain down.
Are you trying to tell me that you can actually feel the life of this tree through the palm of your hand? Zak asked.
Of course,
she said. Then tell me how.
Well, the same way I feel my own nose or the tip of my toes. I feel it because it's a part of me.
Well, it isn't a part of me, Zak said. I think you're forgetting that I'm human. I'm not endowed with fairy magic. Told you he was a trunkhead, bleeped Batty. Crysta told Zak that it had nothing to do with being a fairy. It had to do with life. Didn't he know that everything living was part of everything else? Zak just laughed. Well, I'm certainly not part of a tree. Crysta gently shook the branch of a nearby walking stick palm and showed him what she meant. As the tree swayed, a baby bird flapped out of it, dropping the seed it was eaten.
You see? That's what happens when something is disturbed. It affects something else. Come on, I'll show you around the forest.
Holding his hand, she pulled him behind her. She was proud of her forest, and she wanted him to enjoy it as much as she did.
See this flowering brush box?
She pointed to a huge shady tree that was ringing with the sound of crimson rosellas.
If that one single tree died, it would affect us all. No more seeds, no more flowers, no more pollen, no more bees, no more birds. And see the spider web?
She asked, lightly bouncing up and down on it.
If I break one strand, the whole web collapses. All of life is like this web. We're all connected by a very special magic.
How about you and me? Zak grinned as he lifted her down from the web.
We're a part of everything too,
she said, slipping away from him. A wanderer butterfly offered Zak a lift, and he chased Crysta through the trees, clinging to its back. The deeper Zak traveled into the forest, the more completely he fell under its spell. Batty flapped along behind them, wishing loudly that Zak would disappear out of their lives. I feel the gloom of doom, he muttered unhappily. When Crysta stopped to rest by the creek, Zak discovered a set of bright red toadstools and decided they would make a great drum kit. He began to rap out a rhythm. He listened to the frogs croak and kept in time with them. A blue freshwater crayfish scrambled out of the creek and joined in, playing percussion with its massive front pincers. Crysta began to dance to their beat, slowly at first, then faster and faster she twirled.
There are worlds within worlds,
laughing as she danced.
If life connects me and you, then you must be magic like I am too.
Zak laughed at her song. Then he drummed faster. More forest creatures appeared along the banks of the creek, watching.
He's fallen in fairy love,
whispered an orange and black ladybird to a jewel beetle.
Could be worse,
the jewel beetle replied.
He could have fallen in the creek.
Not even a sudden shower of rain or Batty's rude remarks dampened their happy mood.
The trees make a lot of rain.
Explained Crysta, standing beside Zak under the broad leaves of an umbrella tree.
And the rain makes everything grow. Without the rain, there wouldn't be a rainforest. And if there wasn't a rainforest, none of us would be here.
While they waited for the rain to ease, Zak produced a squashed, half-eaten sandwich he'd been saving. Removing the plastic wrapper, he offered Crysta a bite. "Do fairies ever eat?" he asked.
Yes, often.
She said, picking up the plastic and examining it closely. She stuffed it into her pouch for safekeeping. She bit into Zak's sandwich, but quickly spit it out.
That's horrible!
"How about you, Batman?" Zak shouted to Batty, who was hanging sadly from the top branches of the umbrella tree. Batty looked suspiciously at the sandwich. "Why? Is it laced with poison?" "No, it's not," said Zak, annoyed that Batty still refused to be friendly.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Only fools are positive.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
said Batty before he realized what he'd said.
I fell for it. I should have known.
Crysta laughed at Batty, but she wished he wasn't so unhappy. She couldn't imagine why he'd taken such an instant dislike to Zak. When the rain eased to a light drizzle, they started walking. A redneck Padmalin followed them for some way, then shyly asked if they'd like a lift. Crysta was thrilled to be offered such a good ride, and she'd help Zak climb into the Padmalin's pouch. "Short circuit side effects! Don't put that in your pouch!" yelled Batty, but the Padmalin ignored him. It was well past noon when the Padmalin stopped and let Zak out of her pouch.
"This is as far as I'm going,"
she said apologetically.
"I'm visiting my cousin Mel here at Myrtle Beach Falls. It's not far to FernGully from here,"
said Crysta, thanking her. "Look at this!" called Zak, dragging a dried black bean pod towards Crysta. "I found us a canoe!" He pushed the pod into the water and jumped into it, steering it with a miniature palm frond. "Come on! It's my turn to take you on a ride you won't forget!" Crysta hovered overhead, then lowered herself into the canoe. She sat in the bow facing Zak as they rode the rapids. When the water calmed, they drifted lazily with the current, past stream lilies and water gums, and under the fronds of elegant bangalow palms. A squadron of rainbow lorikeets darted out of the trees and followed the canoe down the creek. They skimmed over the water, twisting and turning without breaking ranks. Crysta called to Batty to keep up with them, but for the first time in their long journey, he didn't reply to her call. "You see, there's more to life than flying," said Zak, grinning, pleased to be in control of their journey for the first time. The sudden roar of a waterfall took Zak completely by surprise. He didn't have a chance to stop the canoe before it shot straight over the edge.